So, so you can move these cards around, but the main thing, when you go into it is going to be, for farming, for, if you want to do,
Like
call
neighborhood.
a neighborhood, and you want to, send postcards or door knock or call, text, whatever you want to do. I mean, especially if you have a new listing or you're doing an open house or it's your own neighborhood and you're tired of, sending something to every single person and you want to just narrow down the list of people that are most likely to sell, then that's what you're going to be looking for. So we go under search, and I don't know, did y'all see the Facebook post I did with the research from Texas Realestate? It was like 168 page, and then I found one that was 10, so I added that to it. But it just tells what the characteristics of the normal seller, how long it takes for them to, before they buy another house. So it said, for first-time home buyers, the 25 to 34 range, they usually move every 4 to 5 years, and then yeah. And then the older that's going to be selling a house, which is what we're looking at, is more like every 10 years. So, because I was usually searching for, 5 to 7 years move, right? But of course, I mean, that can always be different. But, and if you do want to search, by age, by the people, like this neighborhood, how old are they? Then it'll show you all the demographics. Right. Yeah. And you can look at the demographics for the neighborhood, and it'll tell you, what the age range and all that stuff is. So, okay, so right when you log on to it, I don't know what I was.
Mine looks totally different. Mine has the map. Is that what you're supposed to look like?
Yeah, I'm zoomed in.
Okay, I figured.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, too bad I
So-
can't plug mine in.
Yeah, because
Right.
she's already put in parameters.
Yeah, there you go.
So her parameters are coming out.
Right.
So the value in this, just to do a quick overview while she's loading here, is in the past, agents would just, like me, you would send postcards to a certain neighborhood, and you'd pick 500 or 1,000 houses, and it would just blanket send it for you when you did that kind of marketing, right? And it didn't, there was no discerning as to whether or not how long somebody was in the home, or some of them could be rentals. If you were wasting money from your marketing dollar by just blanketing a neighborhood because I wanted to be the expert of Spring Creek West or M Streets East or whatever.
Too bad it doesn't tell us who's the realtors that
But
live in this.
now, with a tool like this, you can save money by, I guess the word is hyper targeting.
Right.
Hyper targeting, like I'm not gonna send postcards to homes that somebody hasn't owned the house 5 years.
Or they just bought the house.
Or they just bought it. Well,
Or they just refinanced the
they're not
house.
likely to be a seller, if they've only been in it less than 3 years or whatever, right? So you can filter nobody less than 4 years or 5 years or whatever you want to do. Or you can, hey, I only want to market to seniors because I'm working on investors that might want to buy these investment properties. Or you can hyper target to 100 or 200 houses that really need what you want and save money versus paying for postcards to just for 1,000 for the whole neighborhood. So that's to me the value of the tool, and then Ali's obviously going to help us with the details of working it and breaking it down. So
Yeah, I mean, and I don't think it's just for mail outs. I mean, it's because like I just did a campaign. I'm not done with it yet, but I didn't have time to do the postcards. And I still use this for everything else
Can you just
that I
create
did.
a flyer from this program and send it straight out?
You can use their print shop. So, okay, so say you have a listing and you want to start, pulling up information, to figure out what you're going to do. Okay, so, and all the numbers that it was showing you, the little blue circle numbers, those are all the actives. And so you're not going to see any of the blue dots until you start zooming in. It's not going to show you that from far away. So in this neighborhood, so there's 91. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit. And as I zoom out, it's going to start showing me everything else. So the 91 was the specific subdivision. But since there were so few, I would zoom out a little bit just to get more results. Because once I start knocking it down to people that live there and everything else, I'm going to have, 5 people.
So you can do it by subdivision or by zip code or
Yeah, you can type in a zip code, but that's, yeah, it's a pretty wide range. But when you're looking for like expireds, you almost have to, because there's not just tons, you know, in every neighborhood. So, but so like right here, so that's still kind of a little bit of a wide range. So if you zoom in just a little bit.
And so I just put in the address bar, the zip code, or whatever I'm looking for.
Right, whatever, or you can just move it around on the map and then zoom in when you get to the area. So now once we have all this, then we can go in and we can start knocking things off. You know, like if we want a certain property value, I don't ever use that one, but you know, say it's mixing in a neighborhood across the street that you don't want to target, and there are $100,000 houses, then you might want to use property value. Ownership time is the main one for me, and the mortgage time. So like that research thing said, 10 years. Hello.
Hi.
Oh.
I did not know that.
I think that it would go over you even if you sat there, but yeah.
Do you want the back of your head?
Right. Okay, so see right there when I just put in 10. So let's see if it'll go back. So I can.
Yeah, can you customize it, or do you have to pick one of those ranges at 0 to 5, 5 to 10?
Yes. Yeah, and I don't ever use those. So so when we're looking at this area, and then I go in and say, okay, the ownership time, you just click that one, and you can either pick one of these or not, but it's a good way just to look at the color coding. If you just want to glance and go, okay, well, who's lived there 20 years? You know, there's a few right in here, but it just is color coding. But I want to say, okay, I just want 10 and above. So then I hit apply, and then it will break it down to the ones that have lived there, you know, 10 years. So that's 112. And that's kind of still, I mean, it depends on what you're doing. If you're door knocking or something, that's still a lot of results. But if you're doing a mail out, you probably want at least 100 or 150, you know. So then you can go in, and the sell score, they have this algorithm that supposedly, you know, it takes in even, you know, like investor, if an investor has, you know, a lot of properties in this area and they're 3-bedroom, 2-bath are selling, you know, really quickly right now as a hot market for that, then it's going to put those investors on the high just because of the market, you know. And then, but the other things.
Well, if they're flipping, then it's likely you would have a high sales score, so likely to come back on anyway, right?
What do you mean?
If the investor's buying to flip it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Definitely going to be on the market soon, so the sales score, I think, would be high.
Yeah, I mean, but they could have owned it for, say, 5 years and been renting, you know, and then now because the market is so hot for that particular property, now it's going to, you know, put it as a high score. But
So sales score means that they're likely to sell.
Right.
Okay.
Correct. The higher the number, the higher the likelihood to sell.
Right.
Which is, if you want to market for listings,
I got quite a few in my neighborhood.
That's good. I mean, I've found that there wasn't that many, and the people that have called me and past clients and houses that I've sold over the last year when I've had this Remine, none of them were high. They were all marked as low. So I wouldn't totally go by that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like the last neighborhood that I did in Plano, it had, you know, no one as a high or a medium. You know, everybody was just low. And then you go there and there's like 6 houses up for sale. You know, I was like, okay, well, obviously people are selling. Right. Right. I mean, so if I did that, we went from 300 to 6. So I'm going to knock the sell score off. So I'm going to stay like ownership time, and then say I want to, and these are all the different things that you can search for. So like if, that's what I was telling Levy, that I wish she would have come, because if she wants to just do investment properties and work for investors, you know, then she can put in absentee, and then it's going to show, you know, the people. Right. So then you can break it down to, okay, these are local investors.
Too, a lot of times if you just cross-reference.
You can what?
In the detached.
Yeah.
Oh.
To show I own it, but I'm in the Bowling
Right.
Hills,
Right.
Illinois.
And a lot of this information you can find public, or through the MLS. It's just a lot of research and a lot of,
How much do you want to just
a lot of time.
do a big amount,
Right.
throw it, and see what comes back, or do you want to zero in? And
And
really be
corporate is
specific?
all the LLCs, I assume.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's,
That's what-
yeah, like
that's
the,
what it is.
yeah. Well, let's see if there's any.
Well, I like it how you can just click on it and you'll see what colors they pull up, like which ones they would be.
Right, yeah. So you can just, I mean, like I'm zoomed out, but I can still see because it's going to tell me the little numbers here. It's going to tell me how many. So there's 20 in this area here, and then if I want to zoom in, to them, then I can go in and look more. I can click on the property and pull the property up if I want to, get more details about it.
Trust.
Yeah, to see what it is. So these are all off market. I mean, they're just, they've been living in their house for 10 years or this is a corporate, so they've owned it. Man, my computer is really slow. I think we need to move one of those computers in here so that we'll always have one. Yeah. Okay, so if you pull up just one of the houses just randomly to look at, okay, so this has a low sell score, and then it has these buttons up here so you can see, and it's all public information, but if you want to learn more about schools and stuff like that, the feature I really like is the valuation, and it won't put it on houses that are on the market, but for these other ones, it pulls in 3 or 4 different sites valuation of it. So it might have, Zillow, or I saw one with Zillow, but I don't see it that often. These are the main 3 ones.
Those are interesting sources there. I think Zillow would be the first one to pop up every time this estimate.
Yeah, and it's, so these guys all have their own little algorithm. And I've gone on some of these and looked to see, I mean, it's kind of like our AVM, our automatic value that's put when we're looking at it, but it has other sources. So that's kind of neat for homeowners, if you share a link, for the homeowner just to be able to go and look at their stuff. So it gives you a price range that it's going to be in, and then you can go through and, look at all the other stuff you can look at on taxes, demographics, schools, history, stuff like that. And then the associated people.
What's the difference between that value on the left there, or on your listen point? Is it the same address?
This is saying the estimated equity, the 520. I don't know what the 483. And then
That's
this is the average value range, but it's 428 to 672. I don't know why it decided to stick on that 508.
Just in the middle.
They have average.
It's not.
No, it's not.
I know that's what I was saying. I would think that it would.
It's the average of the 3 below.
Yeah, maybe it's an
It's the average of these 3, I think. And then it spits out that.
probably the 3 below it.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you had.
From 3 sources below.
You literally said it.
First clue.
I just figured it out.
Okay, so if you go down to associated people, you can look at the information that Remine has on these people that own it, and almost everybody is on the DNC list. Does the white pages tell you the DNC, the do not call list?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay, well, it's on. Okay, my opinion, and Art, tell me if I'm wrong. I tried to look it up. I couldn't find anything on it. If I'm only calling them to let them know about their neighbor's house or invite them to something that's a neighborhood event, like an open house, that doesn't seem like it should be necessarily a do not call, because I'm not calling to solicit them to sell their house with me. I'm just calling to invite them to something. What do you think? So I ignored that. That's what I'm saying. I mean, now if I was calling and saying, hey, do you want to sell your house and I'm a realtor and blah, 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 then maybe. But, you know, if I'm calling them, it's just to tell them about the house I listed or to tell them about, to invite them to an open house or to tell them that the house got a contract or the house sold, you know, and all that. So you guys can do whatever you want, but most of them will say, do not call. So, okay, so that's just the breakdown of individual ones. And I don't even go into all those unless I'm, like if I'm going on a listing presentation or something, I'll pull up the property report just so I can see the history and demographics and all that fun stuff on the property. But other than that, for doing mailouts and stuff, I usually don't go into each individual one.
What does that look like, the property report?
I think I have.
A lot of agents.
Yeah, I'll look for it in a minute because, yes, I usually send myself everything so I can see what it looks like. And I know I did. I just can't remember where I saved it right now. But okay, so I'm going to zoom back out in our little map. And I took out that corporate. And so let's see if there's anyone that's in the medium. Went to 8. That's a pretty wide area. So if you want to X out of, you know, a filter, just go up here and X. Or if you want to completely just start all over, you can say clear all, you know. But okay, so let's go to, or if you want to know how much equity they have in the house, it seems easier. Yeah, seems easier to me though. I really don't care about. Yeah, well, I mean, I guess I should, but that just takes more time to figure out, well, what is the average price? And how much would they need? Blah, 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 how much equity? Instead, I just go and say, I want to make sure that they didn't just refinance, you know, their house.
So the mortgage agent gets to refi people out.
Right.
How do we show which ones in that area are on market, like for sale, or if they're pre-foreclosure?
Then you'll go and
It'll
put
say
status.
active. Usually
Yeah.
It'll say active. You know where it says off market? On the bottom, if you're off to the right and got your pictures,
Yeah.
you say off market, active, closed.
Right up at the top, right here,
Right
status.
here. What does
Yeah,
it say?
right, off market, but
If
how?
it's active
Status,
on
right
this,
here at the top.
Well, but this is telling you what is this.
Oh,
These
there we
are
go.
all the lines of that.
There's a status.
And then you can do
Okay,
status.
and I can
then you
do,
the
okay, that's what I was looking for.
Yeah. So yeah, you can go in and you know, check the one. Obviously, you want the ones that are, you know, off them less. Or if you just did like expired. See, when I did expired earlier, there wasn't, yeah, 0. So let's go and take, because if you're doing expired, you really don't care about anything else. They obviously want to move.
Yeah.
But see, there's only one in that
I have
entire
0
area.
expired.
Because I did my entire area, and there was just a couple sprinkled in there. Like this, okay, so
But I
this
like
is,
seeing the active, whatever.
14 and 12.
okay, so this is 121.75. Now this is, the result it's pulling is like all in there, because even if you come in here, if you want to select a certain area, my computer is so slow. Just go up here and click the little draw a rectangle. And this is one thing they changed too. You used to have to do it a special way, like touch, let go, and all that weird stuff. But now you just hold down the mouse, pull it, and then you've got those selected. So there's only 7 in there. But see, a minute ago it said 29.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
Weird.
I don't know if it's showing like a wider area
Okay.
or it's showing, you know,
Maybe it's the
active or whatever.
actual, like, subdivision or something.
Yeah, because
That's a
I did that.
wider area. You can cross the whole street, so,
But that's a lot.
Yeah.
to get.
I mean, or, you know, or we can stop and we can,
More marketing
Yeah.
area.
you know,
do a square.
like a wider area. I mean, this is the easiest because, I mean, I didn't do a lot on expireds, but I know when I tried to, it was a pain
Yeah.
to pull them all up and then identify
map 'em
those and
and-
then export and then get them and it was such a pain. So here you can just say expireds, and then you can go up here and just say select all, and then you always have to put it in your cart. And he said,
Where's the select all button? Sorry.
right here.
Okay.
Screen. Where did they go? Okay. And then you can go up to cart. There was something that you had to save first. I'm just going to say expireds.
You can name your cards different things.
Yes, and you want to, because if you just say expireds, then you come back and you're like, okay, I want to send a second postcard, or I want to call these people, and then you got 20 expireds, you know. Test. Okay, so you're adding it to your cart, and that's it used to be called your tracking when it first came out, because you're tracking those. Now they call it cart. I don't know why, but so if you want to see your carts, and you come down and you push your name, the little arrow next to your name, and you can see, oh, I'm sorry, carts are up there. You can see your saved searches, settings, everything by your name, but the carts are right here. I think it's alerts down here at the bottom too. They'll tell you what it's doing for you. You know, like if you're wanting to download something, if it's thinking about doing something for you that you ask, it puts it down here. So like if you said you wanted to download something, then all of a sudden it went away. You're like, well, where's my download? You know, because it'll take a few minutes. Okay, so
whenever I see a cart, I think of obviously your
shopping. I know.
Yeah. So is there any does it perform like postcards? And
yes.
stuff that you can,
Yeah.
so
And it's not Remine, but it's the print people that they've hooked up with. And I compared the price, and it was actually pretty reasonable. I think Super Agent Marketing was like 69 cents for the big postcard, and it didn't matter how many you sent out to. And this program was like 66 cents, but I think it was a small one. But
those
so
ones are so much better. So they create.
Who is?
I said the large ones are so much
Yeah.
better than that, because they really stand out. So
You don't want to get lost in the junk mail.
yeah, exactly. I mean,
Right. So when you're in here, you have to go into these. I haven't found a shortcut for for finding out the phone numbers to look at them all quickly. So what I usually do is just select all of them. Just click the little box at the very top and then say export. And then you can export it into an Excel file. And then that way you see all the columns.
Oh, and then it has.
Yeah. And then you can just sort by that column, delete all the ones you don't need, and then you have your call list.
And I like how it says the days on the market there too, to the far right, so you can see like maybe why they were expired.
Right. I mean, now if you want to look at,
Yeah, like
if they were priced too high and all that, well, then you need to go
like that
kind of
one
go
is
into
only
each
28 days.
see. Okay, and then the other information. So it gives you the MLS number, and then their price, bedroom, bathrooms. So if you want to, let's see if this one does the.
So how accurate is the lender information? How do I get that? That's what I always wonder about, like the lender and the V5 and all that. The mortgage information. Do you know anything about that?
I've heard it's very accurate from lenders, because when I had to pay for it, I was trying to get lenders to do. Oh yeah, that we use that same thing, but it's called Bluff. So.
They're inputting something in the system that pulls it over
comes
here.
from the counties, I think,
Yeah,
because
I
when
think
the
so,
deed
too.
is recorded, it literally says on there that it went
How much
to.
they owe.
Like, that's why when you go
It
to
changes
the
the
bottom of
lien holder.
CCAD or DCAD, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you can look down there, it'll say
Lien holder
lien
is
holder
Chase
Wells
Bank.
Fargo $110,000 loan or whatever number. So you may not know it. So it's in, that stuff is in CAD now. So it's just built.
Same with HELOCs or all of that stuff, they all fall into.
Yeah, that's why if somebody refis, you'll
Yeah.
see it sometimes in CAD also. So that's where it's pulls from.
And that's why our clients seem to know so much more information than we do, because we usually don't,
We have to
go
around
digging.
CAD with clients
We're in the
all time.
MLS, yeah, and they call and they know like everything. So,
like my wife's coworkers at her office, they all dig around and see what everybody's home values are worth in their office and stuff, just to snoop on each other. So no, people do that stuff. They want to snoop on each
I
other.
wish I had that much time.
Yeah.
Like,
I know.
Exactly.
I was gonna look around in CAD today.
I know. Who's more fortunate than I am?
Hey, where did you work?
Yeah,
That's funny.
they're not hourly.
Right.
We're not hourly, so we got to go work.
Yeah. Okay, so I went from carts, and then I said that I wanted to print mailers. Did y'all see the steps? I just selected all and then said send mailers.
Send mailers.
Yeah, right
Or
here.
you can export to a spreadsheet if you're going to send it to an outside source.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, or you can export it so that you can
Yeah.
take some off quickly, and there might be a way. I was looking online for some way to, I was asking the help guy. So these guys really are good about helping you. If you just hit the little button down here, it'll tell you like your last conversation. I can go back in, and pick up where I left off with my last question. Because usually I'll ask a question and sometimes they answer right away. Sometimes 15 minutes later and I'm gone, So I'll come back and be like, okay, did you answer, or start a new conversation? And they answer it pretty neat because they give you all the pictures here. Okay. So like I wanted it to give a hard line around a subdivision, not just because every time I zoomed in and out, it would change. And I wanted to just see the subdivision. So this is how they reply back. They show you with all the pictures, and so it's pretty neat. And then to get it to go away, you can just go back. If you hit X and then you pick back up, it's not like a regular chat online where you lost them.
I know. I'm trying to figure out how to get out of it.
Just the very bottom right.
Oh, that's a training.
I don't know where you are.
Oh, this
That
X.
X.
Okay,
It's
I
on
was
the
like,
bottom.
I can't find the X.
It's
Okay.
on the bottom.
Got it.
Yeah.
Wait.
Okay, so I said send mailers, and then when you go over here, so now they have the prices. When they first started Remine, they didn't have any prices until you were done. And I was like, I'm done with you people. I'm not
Yeah.
wasting my time. You're not going to tell me the price. Okay, so now it is. So 72, it tells you how much. So that was
1/4 by 6. 72 is this price, man.
And is that to mill it and everything, or
Doesn't
is
get
it
any
That's
clearer
to-
than that?
that's to print and to
they mill
to-
it stamps?
Really.
Right.
Yeah.
Now the only thing is that doesn't
Right?
say first class, because the regular mail is really long. I mean, if you don't say first class, then it might be there 3 weeks later.
And then they miss
That
the
could just
house.
be if it's first class too.
Yeah.
Well,
The way we've been seeing mail lately. for
yeah.
sure.
So how do you get to
Okay,
first
so that's
class?
66 cents. That's what I figured before, and that's for a 4x6. So that's kind of tiny. So if you do like an 8.5, that super agent one,
That's still just
Yeah,
54.
yeah.
That's not too bad.
yeah, it's not bad.
And that's a nice looking flyer. to
Yeah.
send out.
Yeah, so you can go in and choose.
the design.
Yep.
And you just upload the photo if you want of the house or whatever.
Yeah, if you're doing a just listed, yeah. So it's got the just listed, farming, all that. I did one because they will just do 1 or 2. Like a lot of print shops, you have to order 50 or something like that. Well, I did they're one of their yellow sheets.
Just sold real quick. For the sold. Can you put your own sold information in there? Like if you sold a house, can you put so many days?
Yeah, you should be able to change all the text in it, because I did the yellow letter and I wrote my whole letter. I just erased everything that they had and wrote my own letter. But
Oh yeah, because it says.
so you can pick your colors and address. Then you can say how you want it mailed, mailing address. Or you can have it go obviously to the property address if you're trying to get renters.
I got you.
You know,
And how do I get into that little tab where you're at?
just when you're in your carts, after you've added some houses
I have
in
to
there.
add something. So I have 4
Yeah.
results. So can I get a cards and add that?
Okay, yeah. So then look up at the screen, Tammy.
Yeah.
So I have the 5 results. So I can go over here and say select all, and then cart.
Okay.
And then once I do that, I name it, and then it puts it into this screen. And so these are all my carts, all my saved stuff. And then this is everybody here.
Okay.
So you can do the send mailers. You can actually print from here, like if you have a printer hooked up, or you can export like to Excel, or if you're wanting to export to use your own company to print, you know. But so when you hit, so you have to hit select all. Are you finding it?
Yeah, I'm just watching. I know what you're talking about because I would have to name my card and do all that.
Look like a deer in headlights. She's like,
Yeah.
No, I was just trying to see it.
where did I
I
leave
don't
you?
have glasses on.
Okay. So yeah, so when you hit that, then you're here. So all the normal stuff. But yeah, so if you went in and said, okay, I just want to send this to renters, you know, like you could do the whole neighborhood and expand out and say, okay, well, I'm going to send all the renters this postcard about my just listed saying this, and then I'm going to send all the homeowners that have been there for 10 years. You know, that research thing said that most sellers that sell after 10 years is because they don't want to do repairs, electrical repairs, and they want to be closer to friends and family. So for their postcard, you know, I'd want to say, tired of repairing that house, want new, closer to family, you know, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can target by specifically the postcard as well, not just everything else. So let's see, you asked Donna if you can change. So you upload the pictures. I'm pretty sure you can change anything. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. And
Okay.
wording.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. That's all that is.
Really cool.
And there's some colors changed too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's see if we keep going. I've been trying to figure out how to. Does anybody use CoreFact?
In the past, it's been a while ago.
I really, really like them, but they're, you know, it's like $1 a postcard,
Yeah, they're expensive.
and I don't want to spend that much, so I've been trying to think how to do it without them, you know.
Yeah.
And pretty much just going to be going back to this, you know, picture and, you know, taking just a picture of the neighborhood, stick it on the card, you know. But anyway, so yeah, so you can fill all that in. Now they have, I don't know if they'll let me get back to the beginning, but they have other stuff besides just postcards that you can do. Oh, so it was products. Okay, so they have letters, snap aparts, like if you want to put your business card. That's what I was talking about, the yellow letters. It didn't look as cool as I thought it was going to, but
That's like you handwritten, you know, a letter.
Oh, that little
People
thing.
send those all the time. and
right,
Yeah.
yeah, but it was too small. I mean, it printed like really, really, really small. I was like, I can't even read it without a magnifier. So, but anyway, so when you're back over here and you've done all this, then you export it, and then you can go into like slide dial that calls automatically, you know, put all the phone numbers in there, and then I don't know what everybody uses for texting, you know, for doing to mass text. I use Agent Locator, but I think Line Desk does it too. But so you could also, you know, you could call them, leave them a message, then you could also text them like the day of the open house or whatever, and text them as well. And all that information is going to be on here when you export it. Let me see if it'll show you. So you just say include, I usually take off all the square feet, bedrooms, all that stuff, because I don't really care. Actually, I'll just show you what I got. I'm just going to show you the one.
Used agent locator, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's kind of one of those KV core type systems, you know, that I'm like, I don't have time to learn all that. I mean, I can do the basics with it, but okay, so see, like I just said export, and I'm like, okay, well, where to go? Is it going to pop up or download or whatever? So that's when you go and look at your alerts, and it'll tell you, you know, that it's ready to be downloaded. You know, and then I just go in here and say download. You know, and then the first time you go on Remine, you want to go, obviously, set up all your profile pictures and info and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I was looking at it and I saved it to do that later.
Yeah. Do later. And then gauge, like I said, is the buyer part. Let's see if it would show. Yeah, I'll look for the one. I think I did a video actually when I opened it, what it looked like from start to finish when a client does it, because these are all fake people except for that one. But it also does other stuff, you know, like documents, and I think there's an electronic signature thing in here, but since we use .loop, I really didn't even, you know, get into it that much, but that's the main thing.
I like it.
I know.
I'm like going, oh my gosh, I had no idea.
Yeah, so now we need to set up a follow-up where a workshop where agents come in and
Can actually create their flyers and
Yeah, because I'm going to do mine because I haven't done.
I need to do one like tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I started with that example, because that's the one that I need to do now.
Sold in one day.
Yeah.
That was mine. It just closed yesterday. So I'm like, need to do that.
Yes, you do.
I mean, the only thing that I didn't do, which, you know, is the separating it by renters and targeting to them, which, you know, I guess it takes the time to set it up that first time and then save that postcard, you know, and then you get used to it. But I just went in and grabbed them all, exported them to Excel, and then threw them into the programs, you know. But
can we do it this way too? I know you can send it to them, they can do the printing, but can we print it ourselves? Because didn't you say you could change the print shop or something? If I just go buy the paper and do it myself?
What do you mean? Oh,
to print them now and then mail them out myself.
Why would you want to do that?
Because I need it out like today.
Oh,
You know, I'm just thinking even for theirs, it may take a few days or whatever.
Yeah, this one, I think they came down on the price, because when I first looked at it, it was like way off of like super agent marketing, because I looked at like 10 places and I decided on them because they were one, the cheapest and the fastest. Like they could turn it around in like 3 or 4 days, whereas like CoreFact was like 8 days. And because if the company's not based around us, you know, and they're doing first class and they're shipping it from there, then that's 3 to 5 days.
And printing
and then if they take 2 days in production, so you want one that prints it right then and that's somewhat around, so it'll be 1 to 2 days, you know, to get it out. And this one, let's see, I don't know if it says where they are. Yeah, I'll find out. I'm not sure where they are. It doesn't say. I'll see one that said.
Just like open house flyers for your, you know, if you're going to do an open house, you could print them right there and then go put them on their doors.
Okay, well, that's when you need to be with a lender and do list reports.
Yeah.
Remember when I was
I just didn't know if this
really
would
upset
do that too.
Yeah, I mean, it just has the button for it was just postcards and letters. So I'm assuming that it has the tearaways, but I'm assuming that it's not going to be just a, I mean, you might be able to just right click on it and save it. I'm not sure what a good copy it would be, but like after you've already changed the design, Yeah, so you just go on whatever it is, the postcard, Tammy.
Yeah.
And then right click, and then you can save image. Then you just need to go back and make sure it's a good image that once it.
Or print just one, and then that way you know.
Right. Yeah. But with have you
I
seen
had that issue with list reports. It looks great on the screen, but you got to print it, and I'm like, it doesn't look like the screen.
Well, and then printers, like our printers here, if you print it out, it's not like the quality.
Right.
You get somewhere else. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Because when the lender prints the flyers, they always look really good. I actually don't. I mean, I like list reports, but I don't like their flyer because it has too much about me and the lender. It's like, here's the postcard and that much just says my name, and that just seems like wasted space there. I could put something there. So I usually will just copy, I'll save it and then I'll go put it in Publisher and put my own stuff on it.
Yeah.
But so you do have list reports?
I know I have. I think I still do.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. Do you use it?
I've used it. It's just been a while.
Caliber Marianne has this report, so she can set up.
Okay.
And so Mark
And who's that?
Caliber, mortgage that are in-house.
Okay.
In Texas Urban Living Realty.
Okay, you know what?
That's good to know.
And I thought that I had asked them, but maybe not. Yeah, we need somewhere where their information is because I got dropped because of me and Chris, and I was desperate because I'd already ordered sign writers that had my custom, TeamDuffy and the number, and I couldn't even use them. And and everybody I asked was like, the lenders were saying, no, we didn't really get anything from it. We don't use it anymore. I'm like, well, I need it. So somebody, yeah.
So when you want to add,
I'll
so
let
if you're
Mary
hitting
know.
select all
For the
and
time
you're wanting to add it to your cart, and it's asking you to select or create a cart, and you type in what you're wanting to create, when you hit add it, and then it tells you it's still required, it's not taking the name. So you go down to your name, it's still not there.
What do you mean it's not? Did you go to your carts to the left of the screen?
You mean to my name?
No, to where it says carts at the very top.
Carts. Okay.
Yeah, I have
Yeah,
this
but it's not in
report.
there.
I just don't know
That's
how
what
to
I'm saying,
change
it's
my
not
info
in
for my
Did you
whole
say
company.
save search or add to cart?
And, hold on. let me go
Yeah.
back.
And did you say
I know.
select all?
Okay, I'm going to redo it again. I'm going to hit
Well,
select all.
I have this
Oh,
report.
save
with
search,
another
then,
lender
so I have to
that
save
work
it
with.
first, correct?
No, you don't have to save it
change
first,
my
but
info.
there was-
This is my old broker.
I'm thinking you have to, because
Okay.
then something else that came down here to, okay, so this is what I was doing, okay, so I've got, select all.
I mean, you can
and then
say
under
card,
card,
then you have to
select
select
your
all.
rate, so let me
I
just.
get emails all the time from them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because this was my listing I just had, and they had it that when I pulled it back, it had my old broker.
Okay, so there it is, but see, it's not taking
So
it.
I don't know where I have to
It
go.
still says add to 35, but it's not taking the name, so it's not recognizing the
Okay,
name.
where?
No, wait, go
I
back.
gotta go into settings somehow.
Go back up. Here, so, see, it's not in there. And so this is all my old stuff when you like that.
I don't know. I
Okay,
set it up
so
years ago.
can you just type in test?
It's not taking it. Let me go into safe search first. I bet that's what it is.
Yeah. Well, and I had a problem with it doing something, and I had already saved the search. And he said, oh, to do that, you have to save the search. But I just did it with cart, and it didn't do it. So, okay, I'm going to go back and say, get that stupid corporate thing off.
Okay, now it did save it under my searches.
Well, now you can go in there and,
And I should be able to, but let's see if it pulls it up. Because the last one I did, it didn't pull up any of the pictures. Okay, this one did. So now let me see if I can add it to the cart. Let's see if the name's in there. Let's see if this name's still in there.
did it? Well, go to your saved searches, and that is down by your name.
Right, yeah, save searches. It is in my save searches. The cart's where I want it if I want to do postcards, right?
Right.
Yeah, I've got to get
So,
rid of the
so
cart.
then you go and you just
Click on it.
hit select all, and then
I
go
did
to
do
the
that.
go to
Then
the
you have
top.
Hit select all and then it highlights.
Oh, okay.
Now I'll hit cart. Okay, it's still asking me to select a card. I do the name down, it's not in there. Now, let me see if it'll let me put the name in.
Here, I'm creating one so I can go do the same thing.
Oh, create. You know what? I needed to hit this. Okay, that's what I needed to do. You needed to hit the gray thing to say, yeah, that's the name I want, so it would fill in the box instead of the boxes in
I was
there.
going to say, because I just did it 2 seconds ago, and it did fine.
Like, I'm one of those people that say, why aren't you just going in and type 2? Just
Right, you.
no, now I've got it. Yeah.
Yeah, save to search, you should be able to. But.
There it is. I hit the red box. You have one more step. No, you have 5 steps.
I know, I love that when I go to tech
It's like,
support and they're
really?
like,
You know.
just look up. I'm like, huh? What do you
I'm just
mean?
like, really? Why am I having to do 5 things when it can be done in 1? Maybe
I'm
2.
looking up. Yeah.
Where? See
Sometimes
the
it's so
ceiling
funny.
and lights.
This is what I do. I go, you're talking to a baby boomer on the phone. I know you're what, like 20? They're like, they start laughing and I go, it's not funny. You should be proud that I'm doing this much. And they go, actually we are.
The main
And you understand what we're saying.
the main issue with this thing is people love the way they can dig around in it and get the data. I think people get overwhelmed. They don't know what to do with it.
Well, that's why I was trying to focus on just the carts and
What do
the.
I do once I get this information?
see, 'cause I'm
these
like
100
being-
addresses, these 200 or whatever.
Right. So like I just put 152 in. The house I listed it last night, and I just stuck it in there. I was trying to do it the way she just did it and save searches. Anyway,
So-
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because I did the last one in like less than 5 minutes. Now, if I would have spent a little bit more time, I could have done the targeted.
Yeah.
But I was already behind the ball on. I knew I wasn't going to get postcards out in time because I was looking at the core fact 8-day thing. But
Yeah, I think we just need to share with people on this that it's not only for doing It's not
no,
only
it's
for doing
for calls,
postcards.
text,
You
to
can call the
target,
people. Like she's
door
got
knock.
the white pages list. You can go door knock. You can just send letters to, if you're going to send 30 or 50 letters, that's great. If it only gives you 10 or 20 results, you can go door knock them. I mean, it's just, I think people need to figure out the niche they want to carve into.
Right.
And then once you get this information, then you can decide, okay, I'm going to door knock it and I'm going to do postcards, whatever.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And when you door knock, if you feel like a little intimidated or thinking safety wise, take a title person. A lot of title people know.
Insurance. I had an
Insurance
insurance
people
guy
do
go
it.
with me. It was like 40 degrees.
It's like, yeah, you
Here's
gotta
a
use your
Worker
resources.
out there. Like, the only thing is that this didn't help me, the Remine, just because I'm not going to go every other, if I'm out there walking, I'm hitting every single house,
Right.
versus targeting in,
Well, but
but
mine is such a small area. It's like
Or you
right
could
in my
just, like-
neighborhood, and there's like 35 houses. They have
Yeah.
medium and high sell rate, they have equity.
wow,
and
well, that's
they
good.
have- So I'm like going, you know what? I'm going to go meet them. I'm going to say, hey, I want to be my neighbor this way.
And you can put the store
Right.
hangers on the ones that.
Yeah, if they're not home or door hangers, but you want to follow up. You've got to follow up. If you're not following up, you're just throwing money.
13 times, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, that's it.
All right.
Yeah, we really need to set up a workshop where agents come in and do it and hold each other accountable.
Right. We just need to start